So I met Erich here right behind me at the pickleball courts here at Mount Ogden. We met in the spring of 2015. Erich and I decided in our practicing with each other that we really had great chemistry. We loved playing with each other, and we decided we wanted to play in a tournament together. Erich had some commitments to other players for upcoming tournaments, but we decided that the Utah State Championships were an opportunity for both of us to play together, and so we partnered. We went to St. George. His daughter Sonia came and watched us. We went on to play every match and win every single match that we played in, and we wound up taking gold in the Utah State Championships in November 2015. For us, it was our first gold medal in the men's doubles. We immediately knew that we wanted to play a bunch more tournaments together, and so we looked at our calendars and saw what tournaments there were, and we signed up for the Brigham City Memorial Classic, which is Memorial Day weekend. And we signed up for Huntsman, and we signed up for Fall Brawl, and we signed up for Utah State Championships for the following year. And then my wife and I live in California during the winter, and so we were gone for the next few months. When we came back in mid-March, I called Erich and said, hey, let's get together and go practice. And he was like, okay. So we met here at the courts behind us, and we practiced. And his level of play wasn't at the same level he had been playing at when we won the championship. It was actually less, and partly because it's winter time, but he just didn't seem to have the same energy level. He didn't have the same vivaciousness. He wasn't, I don't know, he just didn't have the same attitude. And I kind of gave him a hard time. I was like, dude, come on, let's get into it, man. We're champions, man. Let's get after the practice. And he just said, I don't feel good, I'm going home. And I was like, no, you don't go home. We've been gone for 3 months. Let's practice. And he's like, I don't feel good. I'm going home. And he just literally got on his motorcycle and rode home. Right after Erich had left playing here with me and saying he didn't feel well, I called him and didn't get a response. Texted him. It was not like him to not respond, but I got no messages, no return phone calls for like a month. Mid-April, I finally get a call from Erich. I see on my phone that it says Erich Schuette, but when I answered the phone, I had no idea who it was. His voice was completely different. I could have sworn, I got goosebumps right now. It was like, I don't even know who's calling me, but he said, this is Erich. And I asked him, are you okay? And he goes, no. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he said, I'm suffering from PTSD. I knew what PTSD was, but I didn't associate with him because he worked for GSA as a technology guy. And even though he'd gone to Afghanistan, in our conversations and communication, he told me about his experiences in Afghanistan as a civilian working over there. I'd never associated him ever having any kind of traumatic experiences in Kabul, Afghanistan, that would associate with PTSD. And so when he said I had PTSD, I was just blown away. And I'm like, well, how's that impacting you? And he's like, well, really bad. And I said, like how? I said, how's it impacting your work? And he's like, it's really hard to go to work. I just said, what can I do to help you? And he just said, you can pray for me. And I said, man, we'll pray for you every day. I said, is there anything else we can do for you and your family? He's like, no. And I just said, okay, I said, we'll pray for you. I'll have others pray for you. And that's kind of how we ended the phone call. A month went by. I called him, I texted him, and no communication. Actually it wasn't a month, maybe two and a half weeks go by. About 10th or 11th of May, I get a call from Erich, and Erich says, hey, I'm just calling you. I'm sorry I haven't been meaning to avoid you, but I know I've got your texts and I've got your calls, and I really appreciate your support. But I just need to let you know I can't play with you at the end of the month in the Memorial Classic, and you're going to need to get a partner also for Fall Brawl and for Huntsman and for Utah State Championships. I can't do it anymore. That was it. That's the last phone call I ever had with Erich. So I continued to text Erich and call and leave messages for him, but no return calls, no text back. And on the morning of July 15th, a Friday, 2015, I got a call from a mutual friend saying that Erich had taken his life. And just rocked my world. Completely rocked my world. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to do. I thanked the person that called me and told my wife, and just made the decision then and there. The next morning we would go see Heike and his wife, and I'd only met her once briefly, and we just sought her out and went to her home and spent a couple hours with her. While meeting with Heike and Sonia, Erich's brother Willie flew in from Ohio and joined us in our discussion. And one of the things I learned in that was that Erich's desire was to be cremated. And that really troubled me because I knew that the entire pickleball community wanted a way to bring closure, and inspired me to put on a pickleball tournament so that I could invite the pickleball community to come support the Schuette family. And we held the tournament, and it was a great experience and amazing for all of those that were present. From that experience that day, I felt inspired to do a tournament again, and to change the focus from raising money for the family and bringing closure to Erich to shifting to improving the lives of those that suffer from PTSD and helping people like Erich still be here. And so this year's whole focus has been to create a tournament that will help save the lives of people like Erich, improve the lives of those that suffer from PTSD, and to raise money for some local nonprofits that will help people like Erich and his family.